Hello everyone, welcome back. This is the continuation video of the previous one. If you have directly landed up here, please go check back the previous video. So 4 marks in ella questions, model question paper alli 4 marks in ಎಷ್ಟು questions ಇದೆಯೋ ಅವೆಲ್ಲ questions ಅನ್ನು ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇನೆ ಹಿಂದಿನ ವಿಡಿಯೋದಲ್ಲಿ. So in this video we are going to discuss the 6 marks questions and the practical oriented one. Okay, so I'm displaying the question paper here. 6 marks question. The first question is, explain the law of diminishing marginal utility with the help of a table and diagram. So diminishing marginal utility and kelidare. So this is from which chapter? This is from our microeconomics second chapter, theory of consumer behavior alva. So what and all you have to do here, you have to write what exactly is the law ಏನು diminishing marginal utility ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ marginal utility ಅನ್ನ ಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ ನೀವು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೈನ್ ಮಾಡಲೇಬೇಕು. you have to write what is marginal utility and why this marginal utility goes on diminishing, ಅದನ್ನ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೈನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. then you have to draw a schedule. there is a schedule showing the marginal utility and the total utility. As and when the person goes on consuming a commodity, what happens? Marginal utility comes down alva. So our table anna draw ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ನಂತರ there is a graph, do that diagram, and then you have to give the explanations. So explanation, at least 8 to 10 sentences explanation about the graph and the schedule you have to write. Okay, then next question is, explain the features of indifference curve with the help of diagrams. So explain the features of indifference curve. So totally we have 3 features for indifference curve. Accordingly we have 3 diagrams, correct? So 2 marks each for each feature. So that will get you 6 marks. So first feature ಏನು indifference curve, slopes downward from left to right. Second feature is that higher the indifference curve, higher is the level of utility or higher is the level of satisfaction. Third difference ಏನು, 2 indifference curve will never intersect each other. So ಈ 3 features ಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಆ ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಅನ್ನ ಮಾಡಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲನೇಷನ್ ನ ಬರೆಯುವಂತದ್ದು. Next, third question is, explain simultaneous shift of demand and supply curves in perfect competition with the help of diagrams. So here we have 4 possible ways. If you remember, recently I had posted the video. So 4 possible ways there, both demand and supply curves moving to the leftwards, both moving to the rightwards, and then the opposite directions. So haga 4 possible ways ಇದೆ, and you have diagrams also for this. 4 diagrams I had shown. So ಆ diagrams ಅನ್ನ ಮಾಡಿ possibilities ಅನ್ನ explain ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. So the second question, that is features of indifference curve, that was also from theory of consumer behavior. Then simultaneous shift of demand and supply, ಇದು ಯಾವ chapter ಇಂದ? That is from the market equilibrium, correct? So that was from market equilibrium chapter. Okay. So next question, so this is a practical question, calculations ಇದೆ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ. This is from, you have to calculate what? You have to calculate the MR and MC schedules, quantity for which the MR and MC are equal. So this is from our last chapter, non-competitive markets in the equation. I hope you all have practiced this question. ನಿಮಗೆ ಕಾಲೇಜಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ ಅನ್ನ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ಬೋದು. ಒನ್ ಸಜೆಷನ್ ಇಸ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್, ನಿಮಗೆ ಈ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ ಆಗಿ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಈಸಿ ಅನ್ನಿಸ್ತದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಇದನ್ನ ಅಟೆಂಪ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ. If you are finding calculations difficult, please don't attempt it. ಯಾಕೆಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ entire marks is dependent on the calculation only. So ಹಾಗಾಗಿ values ಒಂದು ತಪ್ಪಾದ್ರೆ ಉಳಿದ ಎಲ್ಲ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಸ್ಗಳು ತಪ್ಪಾಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತವೆ. Ultimately you are going to lose marks if you don't attempt it correctly. So ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ, ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದೀರಾ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಇದನ್ನ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮಿನೇಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಟೆಂಪ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಅಟೆಂಪ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಅಥವಾ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಹಾಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ನಾವು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆರಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡುವಂಥದ್ದು ಬೇಡ, ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಬೇರೆ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ನಾವು ಅದನ್ನ ಅಟೆಂಪ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. All right. Next question, that is, explain the macroeconomic identities. See, macroeconomic identities, this is a question from National Income Accounting. So totally we have 6 macroeconomic identities. So only writing the formulas is not sufficient. 6 identities ಗೆ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ ಬರೆದ್ರೆ ಸಾಕಾಗ್ಲಿಕ್ಕಿಲ್ಲ. ಯು ಮೈಟ್ ಲೂಸ್ 1 or 2 marks there. ಒಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲನೇಷನ್ ಅನ್ನ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿಗೆ ಬರೀರಿ ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತೇನೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಹಿಯರ್ ಗಿವ್ ಅ ಲಿಟಲ್ ಮೋರ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲನೇಷನ್ ದ್ಯಾನ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ರೈಟಿಂಗ್ ದ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾಸ್. ಟೋಟಲಿ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ 6 macroeconomic identities. Next question is, explain the function of money and how does money overcome the shortcomings of barter system. So this is being asked from our 3rd chapter, money and banking in the. So functions of money ಏನಿರುತ್ತೆ? It is a medium of exchange, it acts as a unit of account. Then there are examples for that, correct? Then what are the problems of barter system? What is barter system? Barter system ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ exchange of goods for goods. ರೈಸಿನ ಬದಲಿಗೆ wheat ಅನ್ನ ಪಡೆದುಕೊಳ್ಳುವಂತದ್ದು, ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್? So that is barter system. So what are the problems of that barter system? ನನ್ನ ಚಾನೆಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೈನ್ ಮಾಡಿದಂತ ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಇದೆ. If you want, you can refer them also if you haven't referred it till now. Then classification of receipts. Next question is classification of receipts. So classification of receipts is from which chapter? It is from the 5th chapter, government budget and the economy. So classification of receipts, we are classifying it into revenue receipts and capital receipts. Matte revenue receipts alli tax revenue and non-tax revenue. So we have such classifications, right? So adanna explain ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಬೇಕಿದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಒಂದು ಫ್ಲೋ ಚಾರ್ಟ್ ನ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ಒಂದು ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ ನ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ಕ್ಲಾಸಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ ಅನ್ನು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಗೆ ತೋರಿಸಬಹುದು. ಓಕೆ, and then you have to explain each one of them properly. Detailed notes ಮತ್ತು explained video ನನ್ನ ಚಾನೆಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅವೈಲೇಬಲ್ ಇದೆ. You can have a look on that also. Then last question is write a note on balance of payment. Now this is from our last chapter, open economy. So balance of payment ಅಂದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಬರುತ್ತೆ? So balance of payment ಅಂದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ we have capital account and current account, remember, right? Then under current account we have balance of trade. So balance of trade ಅನ್ನ ಕೂಡ ನೀವು ಪೂರ್ತಿಯಾಗಿ ಬರಿಬೇಕು. We have net invisibles, that also you have to write. Then you write about capital account. Capital account in a components ಏನೆಲ್ಲ, what are all included in the capital account, that also you have to write. Now if we have to check whether these questions are according to the blueprint. So according to our blueprint, theory of consumer behavior na chapter inda 2 questions barbekitu. So our first 2 questions, that is diminishing marginal utility and features of indifference curve with diagrams. So 2 question kuda theory of consumer behavior inda. So that is according to the blueprint. Then the third question, simultaneous shift of demand and supply, that is from the market equilibrium. So market equilibrium inda ಒಂದು 6 marks question ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. So that is there. Then non-competitive markets ಇಂದ ಕೂಡ ಒಂದು question ಅನ್ನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. That practical oriented problem, the fourth one, that is from this chapter. ನಂತರ ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಅಕೌಂಟಿಂಗ್ ಇಂದ ಕೂಡ ಒಂದು ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ ಅನ್ನು ಕೇಳಬೇಕಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ರೋ ಇಕನಾಮಿಕ್ ಐಡೆಂಟಿಟೀಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಕವರ್ಡ್ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಬಜೆಟ್ ಇಂದ ಕೂಡ ಒಂದು ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ ಅನ್ನ ಹಾಕಬೇಕಿತ್ತು 6 marks ಗೆ. ಸೊ ಕ್ಲಾಸಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ ಆಫ್ ರಿಸೀಪ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸಿ ದೇರ್. ಸೊ in the model question paper it is classification of receipts, but you might see classification of expenditure also in the final examination. So thoroughly study both of them. ನಂತರ ಓಪನ್ ಇಕಾನಮಿ ಇಂದ ಒಂದು ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ ಅನ್ನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ನೋಟ್ ಆನ್ BOP, balance of payment. So that is also according to your blueprint. So one question that is out of your blueprint which is not mentioned is functions of money and how to overcome the shortcomings. Money and banking chapter inda 6 marks ಗೆ question ಕೇಳಬೇಕಂತ blueprint ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲ, but model question paper ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು question ಹಾಕಿದ್ದಾರೆ. But if you had studied it for 4 marks you could have easily attempted it. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ 4 marks ನಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ functions of money question ಇದೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ? So that you could have written. barter system ನ ಒಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಐಡಿಯಾ ಇದ್ರೆ ಕೂಡ ಬರಿಬಹುದು. But again we do have other options also. ಬೇರೆ options ಅನ್ನ ನೀವು attempt ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. All questions have come from the blueprint only. All right. Then regarding the practical oriented question, I am displaying the question here. See, we have these many questions. 4 questions are there. Out of that 2 you have to attempt. ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಅತಿ ಸುಲಭವಾಗಿರುವಂತದ್ದು ಕರೆನ್ಸೀಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಕೂಡ ಅಟೆಂಪ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಲೇಬೇಕು ಆ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ಬಂದ್ರೆ. ಸೊ ಔಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ 7 or 8 currencies that they have given, 5 only 5 we have to write. So United States ಏನು, it is US dollar. For Bangladesh it is Bangladeshi Taka. For China it is Chinese renminbi. For Japan it is Japanese yen, right? So any 5 currencies ಅನ್ನ just currencies ಅನ್ನ ಮೆನ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಕಂಟ್ರಿ ಬರ್ದು ಅದರ ಸ್ಟ್ರೇಟಿಗೆ ಕರೆನ್ಸಿಯನ್ನು ಮೆನ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ you will get full 5 marks. Then the first question, that calculation of how much bananas and how much mangoes a person can consume, that is also very easy. You can attempt that. Write a note on demonetization. ಆದಷ್ಟು ಅವಾಯ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ಬೇರೆ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ ಸುಲಭ ಇದ್ರೆ demonetization skip ಮಾಡಿ ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತೇನೆ, because it is a theoretical question ಅಲ್ವಾ. Depends on how valuator will value it. But again if you are very thorough with the answer, definitely you can attempt demonetization also. But otherwise the first and the fourth last question, so these two are very easy. If you see these 2 questions, definitely attempt it. 100% 10 marks ಸಿಗುವಂತ questions ಗಳು ಇವು. So yes, that is it for the model question paper discussion. ಉಳಿದಂತೆ 1 marks ಮತ್ತು 2 marks discussion ಅಗತ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ನನಗೆ ಅನಿಸುತ್ತೆ, because your doubt is mainly relating to 4 marks and 6 marks ಅಲ್ವಾ. So I think you got a little revision, got a little idea of how question paper is going to be. ನಂತರ ಹೇಗೆ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಎಷ್ಟು ಬರಿಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಒಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಐಡಿಯಾ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಭಾವಿಸ್ತೇನೆ. I hope the video was useful to you all. All the very best for your examinations. Thank you so much for watching the video till the end. Take care. Bye. Namaste.